Joining me now to give an inside look at what most of these men and women are facing is Chris Cabrera. He's Vice President for the National Border Patrol Council. Chris, first off, thank you so much for what you're doing. And I feel like I need to apologize to you on behalf of the rest of America for what DHS Secretary Mayorkas was saying about those photos that came out at the border and what the president said earlier today. I mean, this is kind of crazy. Give us a little insight into how much stress that you all are under and what you are having to deal with every single day. That, I mean, we can look at pictures and look at video footage, but that doesn't tell the full story.
Yeah, no, not at all. And thank you for having me. You know, we've been dealing with this since 2013, off and on. The agents on horseback were put in a tough situation. They didn't do anything wrong. However, they're getting blamed for everything that's happened in the last, I guess, 6 months since, since President Biden took over. It's very frustrating. It's demoralizing for the agents. But, you know, I think we all understand that it's just a misdirection that the administration is doing. They're trying to take the eyes off what's actually happening and try and redirect them and point the finger at us, when the reason all this is happening is clearly their fault. What the conditions were under that bridge were just horrible. They were disgusting. I can't believe any human being anywhere in the world would be subjected to living down there, and they're just trying to redirect it.
What can you tell us about the increase in numbers that are coming across the border now? And I mean, obviously it's a direct result. They think it's a kind of an open border situation, but I'm hearing it's like 5 times more than it ever has been.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year this time, I think we were around about 30-some thousand for the entire month. And we're hitting that in a few days. I think last month we were well over 200,000. We've never seen numbers like that. This is just unprecedented. Not to imagine, not to even get into the amount of people that are getting away, because there's nobody out there patrolling. There's not enough manpower out there to actually patrol the ones that are trying to get away, and not to mention the drugs that are coming through. It's insane. I've never seen it like this. Hopefully they get a grip on it soon. But if they continue just to bury their heads in the sand, this is just going to continue. And I think what people need to understand is an unsecure border, an open border like this is very dangerous for the people that are crossing. It's, you know, obviously there's political, thoughts on both sides of it. But the sad reality is kids get taken advantage of. There's bad people out there that are willing to do bad things to people to further their own cause, and that's what's happening. More people are out there to take advantage of these people that are traveling, and especially when kids are involved, it's just terrible to see.
I've had folks, Chris, tell me, people who work to combat human trafficking, that say, no, it's not dope. That's the big product coming over the border. It's people, and particularly women and children who are targeted by traffickers. What can you tell us about this? Because I see photos of these little kids, and I see headlines where, you know, it's like they can't find parents, and it looks like I saw a picture of a baby and a toddler that were abandoned on the banks of the Rio. Thankfully, a Border Patrol agent spotted the little girl's brightly colored pants, and otherwise they would have never seen her. That she was in brush and it was so tall. Talk to us about this, because those kids, through no fault of their own, are put into this position, and the cartels get paid off it.
Yeah, you know, and the sad reality is it happens more often than not. And what's even more heartbreaking is the parents are already here in the United States, and they're here nice, warm, tucked in a nice, warm bed at night while they left their kids to fend for themselves. And then once the kid gets here, we give them back to that parent who obviously doesn't really care too much about that kid in the first place to make them go on that journey by themselves. And you know, human smuggling is more lucrative than bringing in drugs. I mean, if you had come from one of these faraway places like China, India, somewhere, which happens quite a bit, they pay upwards of $30,000 just to come per person. South America, $7,000 to $10,000, and that's not even counting the actual river crossing. That's just to the Mexican bank. So it is big money. And you look at all these Haitians that came in. I mean, if you put a dollar amount on each one of those that the cartel is getting for crossing them through, that's a lot of cash right there.
Chris, you mentioned the Haitian migrants that were coming across too. There reports were from whether it's Bill Malugin or a number of people saying that there's a good percentage of those that were coming in from Chile and Brazil, and they had their photo ID because they had been previously granted asylum by those countries. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you know, we've heard the same thing. I think one thing that a lot of people are missing is we have the Remain in Mexico program now where we had it and then it went away, then it came back. And that was regardless of what country you came from, you were getting sent back to Mexico. If you were from Nicaragua, you were going to Mexico. If you were from Guatemala, you were going to Mexico. For some reason, the Haitians are getting deported back to Haiti. So it just, with certain people out there always screaming racism, it just seems to me kind of odd that everybody's going back to Mexico but the Haitians, and nobody seems to be wanting to pick up on this, that the black folks are the ones that are getting deported and everybody else gets to stay close by.